Hello dear traders, you're watching Daily Financial News with me, Anna Kasatkina. On Wednesday, popular currencies are locked in narrow trading ranges. The US dollar rebounded marginally. Asian markets are trading lower. In the Asian session, investors traded with cautious mood amid fresh trade tensions between the US and Europe. Besides, investors are anticipating clarity on Brexit terms. Today, the US dollar is struggling for a direction. Meanwhile, it's hovering around the key level of 97 points. The index is drifting quietly ahead of the minutes of the latest policy meeting of the Federal Open Market Committee and inflation data from the US. In the early Asian trade, the Australian dollar climbed following optimistic comments from Reserve Bank of Australia Deputy Governor Debelle. The Australian versus the US dollar pair rose to 0.7130. The policymaker sounded optimistic about the domestic labour market and said that weakness in economic growth was temporary. As a result, the Aussie was gaining ground to 100-day moving average during the whole Asia-Pacific trade. The Aussie is also winning favour with investors in light of an upbeat Westpac Consumer Sentiment Index, which increased to 1.9%. Today, the US is due to release data of major importance, a CPI and the minutes of the March policy meeting of the Federal Open Market Committee. Meanwhile, yields of 10-year treasuries declined to 2.5%, thus denting global risk sentiment. Analysts expect a positive dynamic of the US consumer inflation in March. A consumer price index is expected to edge up to 0.3% from 0.2% earlier on month. An annual growth rate could have accelerated to 1.8% from 1.5%. In the minutes of the policy meeting, investors will look for signals that the US central bank does not plan any rate hikes this year. On Wednesday, the negotiators from the US and China are due to discuss again details of the trade deal. In the Asian trade, the safe haven yen remained in demand. The dollar-yen pair dropped to 111.35 from a more than a three-week high on Friday. Traders are flocking to safe haven assets for several reasons. Yesterday, the US Trade Representative proposed a list of EU products worth $11 billion, which could be subject to new import tariffs. To make things worse, the International Monetary Fund downgraded its global economic outlook. To sum up, investors are on edge in the run-up to three market-moving events: the ECB policy meeting, the EU summit on Brexit, and the minutes of the US rate-setting committee. That's all for now. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.